Welcome to our 5th episode of Yoga at CATV in White River Junction. We have 6 very generous community yogi practitioners with us at varying levels. And keeping in mind, if you're joining us at home doing the practice, it's not so much how far or deep into the pose, but how mindfully you are in the pose without strain, connected to the breath and your original intention. We'll begin the practice with the vibration of Om, unifying all of us here together with the universal vibration and you as well at home. Inhaling everybody. Taking this opportunity to create an intention for the practice, perhaps inviting something into your life, offering something up, or gratitude for this one and only moment. And drawing it to heart center, so palms to prayer. And on the next inhalation, sweeping the arms wide and overhead, offering it up to that which you hold higher. And exhaling home to the heart. Finding your way onto your hands and knees, palms under the shoulders, knees and feet hip width apart. Curling the toes under and pressing back to down dog. So the fingers wide, middle fingers parallel, pedaling it out perhaps, bending one knee and then the other. Maybe even in time with the breath. Inhale, bending one knee, exhale to the opposite knee. Allowing the hips, the shoulders, head and neck to release all tension. And settling into the stillness of down dog or Adho Mukha Svanasana. The quadriceps engaged. Double helix spiral from the wrist down, forefinger grounded, from the wrist upward, shoulder blades down the back. And the inhalation equal to exhalation. Finding that restorative aspect of down dog, extending out and up through the tailbone, taking some of the weight out of the wrists. And on the exhalation to the knees, to extended child's pose, sitting on the heels, forehead to the mat, arms extended. Maybe moving the hips slightly side to side. And on the inhalation to all fours, curling the toes under and pressing back to down dog. Inhale, lifting the right leg extended. Maybe a slight inward spiral to the right thigh, the hips remaining even, the weight through the 2 palms, left foot equal. And exhale, knee to nose, shoulders over the wrists. Inhale, expanded. And inhale, stepping forward and rising to high lunge. Allowing the shoulder blades to release down the back. The right knee above the ankle but not beyond. Extending out through the left heel, opening through the front left quadricep. Psoas, particularly tight if you sit a lot. 2 more full breaths. And on the exhalation, palms to the mat, stepping the right foot back to plank pose, straight line from heel, hips through the head. And slowly to Chaturanga, The body suspended by the palms and toes, simplified to the knees, rolling it out to the tops of the feet to up dog. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, curling the toes under, pressing back to down dog or Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, lifting the left leg extended. Pressing out through the left heel, maybe the left knee becomes straight if it's not already. Exhalation, knee to nose, shoulders over the wrist. Inhale, expand. Inhale, stepping forward and rising to high lunge. So through the transition, the left foot, difficult to come between and align through the fingertips. However you get to that space is perfect. Continuing to breathe fully, expanding across the chest, shoulder blades relaxing down the back. The left toes relaxed. And on the next exhalation, the palms to the mat, left leg back to plank pose. And slowly through the flow to Chaturanga, to up dog. Curling the toes under, pressing back to down dog. Taking 5 full breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. At any point, particularly for the viewers at home, if you lose that important connection to the even breath, you're welcome to come to any restorative pose, typically extended child's pose. And everybody exhaling to the knees to extended child's pose briefly for 2 breaths. Inhaling to all fours, curling the toes under smoothly to down dog. Inhaling, right leg lifted. Exhaling slow and wide to the right elbow. Inhale, expand. Exhale, crossing the heart to the left. Inhale, expanded, stacking the hips, the right knee bent, right foot over the left side. Perhaps gazing under the left armpit, seeing the right foot appear, the right knee still bent. On the inhalation, stepping forward to high lunge. You're welcome to spread the feet farther apart, right knee over ankle. In the ultimate pose without straining that right thigh parallel to the floor. And the exhalation, grounding the left heel, rotating hips, shoulders to warrior 2. A straight line from fingertip through the shoulders to opposite fingertip. So that right knee bent without coming forward over the ankle as deeply as you can tolerate comfortably, not too comfortably. On the inhalation to reverse warrior, left hand down the back leg, right knee remaining bent, extending through the right fingertips and gaze lifted. On the exhalation, elbow to knee for side angle pose, extending from that firmly grounded back left foot. Maybe that left palm facing the earth. If there's any tension accrued in that left shoulder blade, you're welcome to reconfigure that left arm, bringing the left arm alongside the torso, turning the thumb outward, rotating the arm outward, and then extending overhead, whereby you keep the shoulder blade down the back. Inhaling to reverse triangle pose, the right knee straight, left hand down the back leg, firmly grounded from the front right foot, and out through the right fingertips, the right knee currently straight. The back foot evenly grounded. Exhale to triangle preparation, arm shoulder height. The right knee remaining straight perhaps. Inhale, extending out through the right fingertips, right hand in the direction of the lower leg. The right quadricep engaged, lifting the kneecap. If that's unattainable, you're welcome to bring a slight micro bend into the right knee, thereby protecting the knee. One straight line from fingertip to fingertip. Inhale, bending into warrior two. Right knee bent, straight line from palm to palm. And the next exhalation, palms to the mat, right leg back to plank pose. Taking 3 full breaths in plank pose. Maybe stepping the feet back a bit so the hips are in line from heel to head. Keeping the elbows into the body through the transition, coming to Chaturanga, out to the tops of the feet to up dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, and curling the toes under, pressing back to down dog or Adho Mukha Svanasana. So we'll stay on the same side, bringing that to a flow. It's more important to follow your breath than my verbal cueing. Inhale, lifting the right leg. Exhale, wide to the right elbow. Inhale, expand it. Exhale, crossing the heart to the left. Inhale, stacking the hips, right knee bent over the left side. Inhale, forward and rising to high lunge. And the exhalation, grounding the left heel to warrior two. The arms in constant motion. Inhale to reverse warrior. Exhaling to side angle. Inhaling to reverse triangle. Exhale, triangle prep. Inhale, extended into Trikonasana for 5 breaths. Keeping that right quadricep engaged. Maybe gazing to the left palm. So the left palm facing the same direction as the body. The next inhalation, bending into the right knee to warrior two pose. To high lunge, lifting the left heel and arms. And using the arms to help counterbalance as you press off with the left toes to come forward, left foot to right, folding, interlacing. Hands behind the back, chin to shin. As you release the hands, bending the knees deeply, hook thumbs, inhale, rising up and back, and exhaling home to the heart, or Namaste Tahi. For 2 breaths. Lifted through the arches, or Padabandha. The next exhalation, deep to Utkatasana, or chair pose. The knees, hips bent, shoulder blades down the back, gazing up between the palms. Exhale, folding, interlacing, chin to shin, hands palm to palm, perhaps away from the lower back. And as you release the hands, using the arms to counterbalance, as you inhale, left leg back to high lunge. Exhaling, palms to the mat, right leg back to plank pose, and slowly through the flow to Chaturanga, to up dog, curling the toes under and pressing back to down dog. Taking 5 breaths, finding that restorative quality, that balance between effort and effortlessness, steady and easeful, Ostira and Sukham. Exhalation to the knees to extended child's pose. And walking the hands over to the right side, long from left hip to left fingertip. Ideally, the breath, that simple expansion through the inhalation, deepening the side stretch. And easing it back to center. Walking the hands over to the left for the comfortable stretch, and allowing that natural inhalation to deepen. The relaxation, the falling away of tension, and coming back to center. Inhaling to all fours, curling the toes under, and pressing back to down dog. To the other side. Inhale, left leg lifted. On the exhalation, slow and wide to the left elbow. Inhale, expand it. Exhale, crossing the heart to the right. And inhale, stacking the hips. Left knee bent over the right side, gazing under the right armpit, perhaps seeing the left foot appear. The inhalation, stepping forward and rising to high lunge. Grounded through the inside of the ball of the left foot. On the exhale, releasing the right heel, rotating to warrior 2. Hips, shoulders now parallel, easing over the left middle finger. Perhaps adjusting the feet. A bit more space between foot to foot. Inhaling to reverse warrior, left knee remaining deeply bent. As you allow the right fingers to settle maybe a bit farther down through the back right leg, extending long, long, long through the left fingers. Breath remaining even, or Samavriti. The exhalation to side angle pose, bent left elbow to bent left knee, long from firmly grounded back right heel, out through the left palm, perhaps that left palm facing earthward. The weight not collapsing in to the left elbow. And the next inhalation to reverse triangle pose, left knee straight. Right fingers down the back leg, extending from big left toe out to the left fingers. The left toe still relaxed, the breath relaxed. Exhale for triangle prep, arms shoulder height. As you inhale, reaching towards the wall in front of you, torso arm lengthening, left hand towards the left lower leg. top shoulder in line with the bottom shoulder. Never gripping with the toes. Either a micro bend or an engagement in that left quadricep. And the next inhalation, bending into the knee for Warrior Two briefly. Inhaling to high lunge, right heel, arms lifted. And preparing to come forward, pressing off with the right toes, right foot to left, folding, interlacing. As you rise, being sure to bend deeply into the knees. Inhale, releasing the hands, knees bent, hook thumbs. And exhaling home to the heart for 2 breaths. The next exhalation to Utkatasana or chair pose. Bending the knees, the hips, arms extended. Exhale, folding, interlacing briefly. On the inhalation, right leg back to high lunge. Exhaling, palms to the mat, left leg back to plank pose. And through the flow to Chaturanga, to up dog. Curling the toes under, pressing back to down dog. Moving through that a bit more fluidly, being followed by your breath, not necessarily my cues. Inhale, left leg lifted. Exhale, slow and wide to the left elbow. Inhale, expanded. Exhale, crossing the heart to the right. Inhale, stacking the hips. Inhaling forward and rising to high lunge. Exhale, grounding the right heel to Warrior Two. Inhale to reverse warrior. Exhale to side angle. Inhale to reverse triangle. Exhale, triangle prep. Inhale, extended, reaching into Trikonasana for 5 breaths. The left toes relax. Inhaling to Warrior Two pose. To high lunge, right heel, arms lifted. And the next inhalation, pressing off with the right toes, right foot to left, folding, interlacing. Inhale, knees bent, hook thumbs, pressing through the feet as you rise. Exhaling home to the heart for 5 breaths. Namaste Tahi. Honoring the light at the heart center. The next exhalation, coming to Utkatasana or chair pose. And as gracefully as you can on the inhalation, pressing through left foot, right knee lifted to crane pose. So the left toes relaxed, grounded through the inside of the ball of the left foot. Lifted through the arch, spine a bit taller but not stiff. And the exhalation to Krishna Asana, crossing right leg over left, right heel lifted, pointing to the left as you inhale, lifting through the left arm, pressing the right palm across the body with the fingers upward, energetically experiencing the energy being pressed across the body, lifted from left hip, maybe even gazing up to the left palm. On the exhalation, the left arm across the face, inhaling down and around to crane pose. Through the transition to warrior three, so bending into the left knee, right leg straight back, hands by the hips, balancing on the left foot, pressing out through the heel, out through the inside of the ball of the left foot, left quadricep engaged. And through the transition, bending into the left knee, inhaling back to crane pose. And to Lahasyasya, right knee behind, bent left knee. Inhale, lifted through the right arm, pressing across with the left hand, gazing over the left shoulder towards the uplifted right heel. A steadier pose with the two knees pressing firmly together, both knees at least slightly bent. And for the twist, palms in prayer, right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Inhale, lengthening. And exhale, drawing the gaze, if you're feeling balanced, up and over the left shoulder. Being sure to rise with the breath, the next inhalation, pressing through the left foot and rising to crane pose. Maybe smoothly, maybe not, it is all perfect. And the next exhalation, both feet to the mat, knees bent to Utkatasana chair pose. Inhalation, left knee lifted to crane pose. Through the transition, bending into the right knee, pressing straight back to warrior three. The right knee becomes straight, being sure that the right quadricep engaged, no pressure in that right knee. For viewers at home, you're welcome to bring the fingertips to the mat if that makes the pose more attainable. Yoga is not a competition, but a journey inward. And carefully inhale, bending into the right knee, pressing back to crane pose. Exhale, crossing left over right. Inhale, lifted through the right arm, pressing the left hand across the body. Finding that extension, that delicate balance from right hip out through the right fingertips. Literally, perhaps even experiencing that energy across the body with the left hand. Moving with the breath. The exhalation, the top hand across the face, inhaling back to crane pose. Preparing for Lahasyasya. Exhale, left knee bent and behind the bent right knee. Inhale, lifted through the right arm, pressing. Oh, that's not right. So the left arm lifted, pressing across with the right hand, gazing over the right shoulder towards the uplifted left heel. Both knees at least slightly bent. Back knee grounded to the back of the front knee. And preparing for the twist, the palms in prayer. Left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Inhale, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, following that sweet rotation from the base to the crown. Maybe one straight line from elbow to elbow. If you're at home, you're welcome to bring the left hand to the mat or a block, extending in a straight line from fingertip to fingertip. On the next inhalation, pressing through the right foot, rising to crane pose. Carefully bending into the right knee, out to Warrior Three, briefly. And as we come to high lunge, reaching back with the left toes, arms extended to high lunge. Exhaling, palms to the mat, right leg back to plank pose. And slowly through the flow to Chaturanga, to up dog. Curling the toes under and pressing back to down dog. Returning to plank pose. And coming to knees, chest, and chin, or Ashtangasana. So hips lifted, elbows into the body, toes to the mat. And as you release the tops of the feet, hips to the mat, inhale, lengthening out and up through the head, neck, and shoulders for Low Cobra or Bhujangasana. And curling the toes under through straight leg or bent knee, pressing back to down dog. Taking 5 full breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana, aware of that double spiral from the wrist down, forefinger grounded, from the wrists up, the shoulder blades down the back. And on the exhalation to extended child's pose, coming to the knees, sitting on the heels, arms extended. Taking a few more full breaths. On the inhalation, coming to sit up on the heels. Coming to eagle arms, right arm over the left, interlacing once or twice. Perhaps if you're at home, maybe using a strap or a tie, if you can't reach one hand to the other. Lifting the elbows for a comfortable stretch through the shoulders. There should be no discomfort or impingement. The gaze slightly lifted. And on the exhalation, coming to a cat-like arch through the back. So elbows to navel, navel to spine, chin to chest. Into the stillness. Following the subtleties, the sensations of each breath. And the next inhalation, maybe the hips lift to a gentle flow of a vertical cat-cow. So inhale, elbows, gaze, heart lift. And on the exhalation, chin to chest, elbows to navel, navel to spine. In time with your own breath, not necessarily my verbal cues. As we experience that connection between breath and movement, we get away from the origin of movement from the mind, but that breath manifesting as movement itself. And the next exhalation, coming to sit back on the heels, lift it a final time through the elbows and releasing the arms wide, maybe touching your neighbor if you're sitting so close to people like the studio here. And on the next inhalation, interlacing the opposite direction, so left arm over right, into the stillness at first. So elbows, gaze lifted for comfortable stretch. Finding that slight back bend without any strain or tension. And the next exhalation, drawing it all to the navel, to the spine, for that still cat-like arch. The natural breath, releasing tension. And the next inhalation into the flow, inhaling, lifted. And exhaling rounded. Continuing, following your own breath. The word yoga itself meaning union, to join, union of what we perceive as our individual or separate self, hardly so, joining with that universal intelligence or experience. And the next exhalation, coming to sit back on the heels, lift it a final time through the elbows and maybe the arms wide if there's room. And coming out onto the hands and knees, palms under the shoulders, knees and feet hip width apart, curling the toes under and pressing back to down dog. Inhale, lifting the right leg extended. Exhale, slow and wide to the right elbow to pause for 3 breaths. Inhale, stacking the hips for 3 breaths. And the next exhalation, right knee to the mat for pigeon pose. So the right knee in line with the right hip. Right lower leg inside of the right thigh. Maybe using the left foot to extend the leg. Maybe coming out to the forearms, forehead to the mat. Palms up, turned as a gesture of offering. And making any subtle movements, adjustments, further releasing any tension through the head, neck, shoulders, hips. No sense of holding. Tension inward to the breath. With the palms upturned, offering up your practice. no discomfort in the knee. And for the slight variation, perhaps walking the forearms over to the left 6 or 12 inches. A different opening in the hip, but still no discomfort in the right knee. If the mind distractible, or simply you're looking to deepen the awareness within, deepening that Ujjayi breath if you're not already. It can even be soft. It doesn't have to be constricting, just enough to attach the mind to. And easing it back to center. Bring the palms to the mat, pressing through the palms to come up, curling the left toes under, and pressing back to down dog. Inhale, lifting the left leg extended. Exhale, slow and wide to the left elbow to pause for 3 breaths. And inhale, stacking the hips for 3 breaths. Left knee bent, left foot over the right side. The next exhalation, left knee to the mat, in line with the left hip. Adjusting the lower leg to your personal stretch. Walking it out. Palms upturned, maybe forehead to the mat. If you have any knee issues, perhaps bring a block or pillow under the left hip. Coming back to that sense, that attitude of offering or devotion. And walking it over to the right, 6 or 12 inches. Easing it back to center. Palms to the mat, curling the right toes under, the left leg back to down dog for 5 full breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana. We're blessed today by having the trains pass by, shaking the earth, resembling the dance of Nataraj, the dancing Shiva, creation, sustenance, and destruction, and the exhalation coming to the knees and back to extended child's pose. The inhalation coming forward to the forearms, stepping the feet back for forearm plank pose, and the feet hip width apart. So for some of you at home, maybe even in the studio, this will be enough. Otherwise, coming to the outside of the right foot blade, inside of the left right hip, maybe hovering above the mat if it is no longer hovering. So both forearms remaining grounded. The inhale equal to exhale. And maybe even the feet wide enough apart they don't touch. Inhale back to center. Exhaling to the left. So the outside of the left foot blade, inside of the right. Inhale back to center, knees to the outside of the mat, heels together, palms in prayer for a tricep stretch. On the inhalation, returning to the forearms. So I'm going to instruct for dolphin pose for those of you at home that would prefer another inversion. You're welcome to come to that. Or even those in the studio if you prefer to come to a headstand. So curling the toes under and lifting, straightening the legs, walking the feet towards the elbows for dolphin pose. So the head and neck relax, gazing towards the ankles. Occasionally taught with the fingers interlaced, I prefer the palms to the mat, palms in line with the elbows, as it's a great prep for forearm stand. And pressing evenly from elbow to palm, the weight of the body not simply collapsing into the elbows. With no tension coming into the wrists. You can even bring it into forearm push-ups. Forearm push-ups, the nose and chin coming out beyond the hands, almost to the mat. And inhale, lift it. Maybe 20 more of those. And on the next exhalation, the knees wide to the outside of the mat, palms in prayer to a tricep stretch. Inhale, coming out onto the belly for low cobra or Bhujangasana. So palms under the shoulders, maybe slightly lower. The forehead to the mat to begin. Inhale, lengthening out and up through the head, neck, and shoulders, keeping that length through the spine, the neck, and finding perhaps an outward gaze, looking more out to the floor, keeping that length through the neck, rather than bringing any tension into the back of the neck. So the forehead, the eyes soft. If there's any tension in the forehead, maybe lowering the head slightly. The focus of the pose to the top of the chest, maybe even as high as the collarbones, following that expansion through each breath, opening across the chest, heart. One more inhale, exhale, slowly releasing forehead to the mat, then turning the head to one side, arms alongside the body for a few full breaths as you bring your focus to the gentle rise and fall of the belly on the mat. Preparing for a locust or Shalabhasana variation, begin with Ardha or half. So bring the arms under the body, the chin to the mat. And the inhalation extending out through the right heel, right leg lifted. Appearing as a simple pose, I invite everyone both here in the studio as well as at home, while we simultaneously extend from the right buttock to hip for that full extension, inviting full relaxation into the rest of the body. So incorporating engagement as well as relaxation. The left leg is currently relaxed. One more inhalation. Exhale, releasing the right leg. And inhale, extending out through the left heel, left leg lifted. That delicate balance between full extension while expanding that relaxation through the rest of the body and mind. One more inhale. Exhale, releasing the left leg, head to opposite ear for a nice even neck stretch for a few full breaths. For the full version, returning the chin to the mat, arms more deeply under the body. Curling the toes under as you press through the toes, weight coming into the torso. Keeping it there by pressing the backs of the hands, forearms away from the chin and lifting both legs up and off the mat. So maybe the toes only come a few inches off of the mat. But as you continue to press the backs of the hands towards the feet, more weight coming into the torso, chin, and legs perhaps a bit higher, with no discomfort in the lower back. One more inhale. Exhale, releasing the legs, the arms from under the body, the head to one side for 2 breaths. Bring the palms to the mat, pressing to come up onto your back. So simply rolling over. So the head can remain towards the front of the room. And for bridge pose, bring the heels to the buttocks, using the hands if necessary, feet hip width apart. And engaging from that pelvic rotation, by that I mean pressing the navel into the mat, tailbone lifted, then pressing through the feet and rolling up, lower, middle, upper back coming off of the floor, interlacing the hands, the fingers, palm to palm, maybe even working the upper arms more deeply under the body, carefully without jarring the neck, hands towards the heels, feet evenly grounded from inside to out, front to back, still not rotated outward or inward, but parallel. Maybe even drawing the pinkies to the mat if they're not there already for that deeper opening through the upper back, chest. If you have a deeper version of this at home, you're welcome to come into half wheel or full wheel. One more inhalation and exhale, slowly releasing the hands, maybe lifting the heels, engaging the core as you roll it back to the mat, tailbone last, and gently rocking the knees from side to side. Coming back to center, bring the knees into the chest, wrapping the arms ahead to the knees for a gentle belly squeeze. And as you release the head to the mat, taking the soles of the feet for happy baby pose. Head to the mat, gently rocking it side to side. And for the happiest of all baby vibrations, as we putter our lips in glee. Feeling those good vibrations, tension falling away from the face, lips, and releasing the hands from the feet for reclining eagle twist, bringing the right leg over left once or twice, bending the left knee, left foot to mat, hips to the right, knees to the left. And gazing over the right shoulder, so typically the arms would be extended, maybe the elbows bent if there's room for that. Or if you're practicing next to somebody, either here or at home, you can bring your right hand to their right knee, so deepening the pose for them, if it's not to the mat already. So the focus inward, a gentle massaging action through each breath. Inhaling, coming back to center. Unraveling the legs, squaring the hips to the other side. Left leg over the right once or twice. Bending the right knee, right foot to mat, line with the spine. Scooting the hips to the left, knees to the right. And gazing over the left shoulder. So for those of you at home, if you feel like the hips, buttocks are being pulled to the right, you can draw the knees back to center, furthering the hips to the left and releasing the knees to the right. If you have any questions about that, you're welcome to email me at yoga2go. 2 more deep breaths, the awareness inward, that gentle massaging action through each breath. And inhale, coming back to center, unraveling the legs. If your body's calling for a remaining pose, now is the time. Otherwise, finding a comfortable place, typically corpse pose for Shavasana. Corpse pose, the arms, legs long, legs slightly apart, arms slightly away from the body, maybe the palms turned up a bit, the shoulders released into the mat. Coming back to your original intention. The eyes closed, maybe at home if you have an eye pillow. And offering up your intention, the fruits of your practice. The awareness to all 4 parts of the breath. The 2 active portions, the inhale expanding, the exhale contracting, with particular attention to the 2 still spaces between the active portions of the breath, and not with effort, but simply resting your attention in those spaces. Slowly drawing your awareness back to your place, deepening the breath, taking your time to awaken the body, wiggling the fingers, the toes, the wrists, ankles. Inhaling, stretching the arms long overhead, bending the knees, and finding your way onto your right side for a few moments. A daily reading from the Golden Present by Swami Satchidananda, founder of Integral Yoga and Yogaville, Heaven on Earth. Not every hole has a snake. We have to correct our vision. It's not only the eye that sees, but the eye also sees. Sit in meditation and think, am I seeing things and people without any prejudice, or do I project my image? We see not just the person, but our own prefixed notions. It's a very natural thing, and it's very hard to escape from that. When that happens, you have to question yourself, why am I seeing that person this way? A country proverb says, not every hole has a snake. You may happen to see a snake going into a hole, fine. Remember that all holes are not free from snakes, but don't look for a snake in every hole you come across. See each one individually. And in your own time, finding your way to a comfortable seat. Inhaling for the beautiful vibration of Om. Shanti, 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 Hari Om. Peace, peace, peace. Salutations to that remover of obstacles that lives within us all. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for coming. Namaste, everybody.